flat tire, pouring down rain. I knew this would not be my night, but when I got a lead on a mysterious research project brought back from Canada by the Miskatonic University, I had to get the scoop. But things never go as planned when Rex Murphy is involved. No, sir, I'm the most unlucky, or should I say cursed, man I know. Sure enough, just as I got pictures of the aftermath of what seemed to be a sort of chemical explosion or worse, my camera fell to the ground and I was unable to retrieve it due to the rain and darkness. The next morning, it was clear that what caused the damage was not an explosion after all. Something broke through the walls, and perhaps related, the specimen of a mysterious creature that was the subject of the research project was missing. It must have broke through minutes before I got there. Perhaps my fortune was beginning to change after all. Welcome to the Twisted Tentacle Inn. I'm your innkeeper, Vase Odin, and today we'll be talking about Rex Murphy, the reporter. Rex Murphy is a man with the most rotten luck imaginable, but since he doesn't believe in luck, a better term to describe his misfortunes is that he is cursed. It's not clear what caused this or why, but Rex has been living with this curse from a very young age. As a reporter, Rex has had unfortunate occurrences almost every time he comes upon a story of extreme importance. He has had his film destroyed, flat tires, windswept documents into the Miskatonic River, and other events that have mysteriously and conveniently destroyed evidence. Rex always seems to find himself smack in the middle of a great story, only to have all the proof be taken away. In Arkham Horror the card game, Rex Murphy is a seeker with a 3 in willpower and a 4 in intellect, a 2 in combat, and a 3 in agility. He has a health of 6 and a 9 in sanity. He has a reaction ability that reads, after you succeed a skill test by 2 or more while investigating, discover 1 clue at your location. His Elder Sign ability is a +2, but you may choose to automatically fail instead and draw 3 cards. His deck building requirements are a deck size of 30 cards, and he can take Seeker cards level 0 to 5 and Neutral cards 0 to 5. Being an investigator from the Dunwich Legacy cycle, he can also pick up to 5 level 0 cards from any faction as part of his 30 card deck. His signature card is Search for the Truth, a 1-cost event that has 2 intellect icons and 1 wild icon. When you play the card, you can draw X number of cards, where X is the number of clues on Rex. This card's strength is rather dependent on the scenario that you're playing, and it's worlds better in multiplayer than in single player. In fact, this card is very strong in multiplayer, allowing you to easily draw 5 cards when played. In single player, where clues are more limited, I would say this card is still good, but it's not overwhelmingly good. Rex's signature weakness is Rex's Curse. When you draw it, it goes into your threat area. When you take a test and succeed, you have to return the drawn token back to the bag and draw another token. If you fail, you shuffle Rex's Curse back into his deck. Although this can cause you to fail a test you'd otherwise succeed at, it's far from the worst weakness. In fact, I found this weakness to be rather tame. Most weaknesses force you to go on a side quest, lose multiple actions, or lose multiple cards. Redrawing a token may cause you to lose a test, but it's just one test. Most of the time, this equates to 1 lost action, although theoretically it has the potential to not have an impact at all. And, this is extremely rare, but, at worst, it'll just fail you on an important skill test. Rex is generally touted as the strongest investigator in the game. In fact, he's the only investigator recently added to the official mutated list in the Fantasy Flight Games frequently asked questions. We'll talk more on that in just a bit. So, why is Rex considered to be so strong? Free clues are very much coveted in this game, and having an ability to obtain free clues a number of times, limited only by your number of actions, is pretty much broken. That would be strong enough on its own, but there are several cards that make his ability even more powerful, especially combined with his ability to pick up any 5 cards from other factions. Let's go over a few outrageous things that Rex is capable of performing. Higher Education. This card is fantastic in any deck, but with Rex, it all but guarantees success by 2 on almost every test, which means you'll be getting 2 clues no matter what, just about every single test. Dr. Mylan Christopher. Granting a +1 intellect puts Rex in an even better position to get to that 2 points over the difficulty of a test, and a free resource every time you investigate successfully with no limit per turn is pretty great. Burglary. Since you can get cards from other factions at level 0, this is one of the cards that Rex can put into his deck, and he can put 2 copies of it in there. With this card, you can investigate using your location shroud value. Instead of getting clues, you can pick up 3 resources. If you succeed by 2 or more, you can still get a free clue using Rex's reaction ability. This is especially great in solo, where most locations have 1 clue, and you would normally not be able to benefit from Rex's ability as much. Add in Dr. Mylan Christopher, and now it's 4 resources and a clue every time that you investigate. Burglary does exhaust, which is a nice limitation, but there is nothing stopping you from having 2 of these in play, netting you 3 clues and 9 extra resources per turn when you investigate using Dr. Mylan Christopher. Right of Seeking with Higher Education. Rex's ability doesn't specify that intellect must be used for the investigation. This means that you can use Right of Seeking along with Higher Education to pretty much guarantee 3 clues per action. You can also add more charges to this card using Enraptured for even more shenanigans. Now, while there are yet more combos available with Rex, we'll just leave it at that and conclude that he is indeed a very potent clue gatherer. Even if you wish to not use one of the previously mentioned combos, you can still build Rex to be reliable and consistent. I recommend putting in cards that boost his intellect. Permanent asset boosts like Mylan Christopher and Magnifying Glass are great picks. Skill cards that boost intellect are also pretty great. Free clue cards like Working a Hunch are okay, but they don't trigger his reaction, so I usually prefer cards that boost his intellect skill value and willpower of using Right of Seeking, rather than cards that grant you free clues. The cards that do both, though, are ideal. This includes cards like Deduction and Fingerprint Kit. Now, I'm going to quickly cover some official rulings regarding Rex from the FAQ from Fantasy Flight Games. Number 1, you can only discover a clue if there is a clue in your location. So if it's got 0 clues, you're not discovering clues. You can use his reaction ability to discover a clue even if the successful investigation attempt would not result in discovering clues, which is what we discussed in the burglary card section. If you're forced to redraw a chaos token due to Rex's curse and you draw the Elder Sign, choosing to automatically fail the test results in the curse being shuffled back into Rex's deck. And just one more thing about Rex. I mentioned earlier that he was recently added to the mutated list included within the official FFG frequently asked questions. This is an optional change to certain cards, and it's aimed at balancing cards that may have become too powerful. The change in Rex limits the use of his ability to once per round. Note that it's not once per turn, which would have allowed you to use cards like Quick Thinking out of turn in order to gain an action and grab an extra clue twice in one turn. The limit of once per round is very significant in the rebalancing of this investigator. I do believe that Rex is generally too powerful in his regular form and needed the rebalancing. Combined with the changes to Dr. Christopher, which I'm not going to cover in this video, Rex becomes an investigator that's still very good, but basically on par with everybody else. Regardless of whether you use Rex with the new Taboo or mutated list, or as he was written, I'm sure you'll find him a great asset to any team of investigators. And that does it for today's video on Rex Murphy. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. This is Innkeeper Vase Odin from the Twisted Tentacle Inn. Check in anytime. I'll talk to you then.